In Chapter 7, we talked about market structures and the types of competition that exist between businesses. Now we're going to move on to the way businesses can be organized. There are 5 basic types of business structures or business types. In this video, we're going to go over sole proprietorships and partnerships in detail. And in the next video, we'll look at franchises, corporations, and nonprofit organizations. Sole proprietorships are businesses that are owned and managed by a single person. This is most businesses in the United States. You can think of like any small business that isn't like a huge corporation or a franchise. Franchises are like McDonald's. We'll get to them in a little bit. Now, there are a handful of advantages and disadvantages of sole proprietorships. This is just a sole proprietorship is if you went out and you started your own business by yourself. That's what a sole proprietorship is. Advantages are they're easy to start and it's easy to end. It's all up to you. It's whenever you want to decide to create a business and when you want to stop doing that business, completely up to you. There's only a few regulations. They're not as regulated as corporations or franchises or nonprofit organizations. And you as the business owner become the sole receiver of profit, so you get all the money. And the final advantage we have down here is you have full control to make business decisions. If you want to take the business in a new direction, you don't have to ask for anybody's permission, you don't have to convince anybody, you just have to go do it. You're the boss, whatever you say goes. However, there are a handful of disadvantages. The scariest one for new business owners would be unlimited personal liability. This is the biggest problem because any loans you take out or any bad business decisions all fall back on you. Like, you're the boss, you make all the decisions, and therefore you have all the responsibility for the business. As a sole proprietorship, you're generally a smaller business, and so you have a limited access to resources. Banks are less likely to give you loans. It's more difficult to get raw materials for your business, depending on what type of business it is. And finally, there's a lack of permanence, which means usually when the owner of sole proprietorship retires or passes away, the business goes with them. Additionally, it's hard to keep workers since you have a limited amount of funds, and you can't really compete with the wages of larger corporations. We'll talk about how competition for employment in the next chapter. Now, partnerships are similar to sole proprietorship, but instead of owning it all by yourself, you're going to own it with one or more people. And so you'll have at least one partner, possibly more, and you kind of divide up responsibilities and profits. So there are a lot of partnerships in the United States. They're not a huge amount. A lot of law firms and dentist offices. Anytime you and another person get together and say you want to start a salon and cut hair, and you have a friend who's really good at accounting, and you're really good at cutting hair, well, you can go into partnership. They can do all the books. They can take care of all the paperwork, getting the loan, etc. And then you could run the kind of the service aspect of the business where you're actually styling people's hair and whatnot. The advantages of a partnership: first, it's easy to start up, just like a sole proprietorship. It's just a little bit of paperwork. The financial impact isn't all on you. You don't have all the responsibility for the loans, and so banks are generally a little more likely to give you funds so that you can grow and develop your business. And you have shared decision-making ability. So instead of having to make every decision yourself and having to research a bunch of different things, you can kind of divide up the work and bounce ideas off your partner. So like I said, you could be, if you were running a salon and your business partner was really good at accounting, they could take all the tax aspects and paperwork aspects of the business while you just focus on cutting hair and running kind of the day-to-day things of the business, what kind of equipment to buy, etc., etc. And finally, some disadvantages of partnerships. Like I said, it's similar to a sole proprietorship in that you have unlimited liability. You and your partner or partners are essentially liable for any debt that your company gets and any good or bad actions that you or your partner do. Partnerships also have a potential for conflict when you and your partner are both equally have the equal amount of money and time and work put into a company, and you disagree on something. You have to find a way to resolve that conflict without destroying the business or hurting your business in some other way. And just like sole proprietorships, businesses typically end when one or both of the partners dies or retires.